President Obama campaigned on hope and change, but as we look ahead to 2012, new poll numbers show a discouraging picture. A New York Times CBS poll finds 70% of Americans right now believe the U.S. is on the wrong track. That is the lowest level in 2 years. So why the discontent, and what can be done to turn things around? Joining us for a fair and balanced debate is Democratic strategist Dan Gerstein and Fox News contributor Deneen Borelli. Dan, let me go to you first, because the New York Times CBS poll tracked other polls as well, Gallup, and so it's about 70%. If you're in the White House right now, what do you think about, how do you turn that around in the next few months?
I think they're going to have to be focused on getting back to a jobs message. And they've been on defense ever since the election last fall, with the Republicans, hammering away on spending. What the Times poll shows, though, and this is the good news for the White House, is that the Republicans' message about cutting spending is what's going to revive the economy has been a total dud. The American people aren't buying it. So the president now has an opening to kind of reclaim the center, reclaim the debate, and start convincing people that he has a plan to get the economy moving again.
So, Deneen, how do you think the Republicans will be able to do that? Because President Obama is clearly on the campaign trail, getting a lot of attention, and in some ways, I guess the word would be demonizing the Republican suggestions for these draconian cuts. Do you think the Republicans are now going to be put on the defensive because of President Obama's attack?
Well, what I think they should be focusing on is our energy policy and how high gas prices, for example, are hurting Americans or squeezing Americans. That is something that the president is totally disengaged in because of his war on fossil fuels. So that is a message that they can carry and take with them that will be very representative of the will and the needs of the American people, because people are suffering at the pump, and they're also suffering in the supermarkets with high food costs.
So to that point on gas prices, having worked at a White House, I know that every president, if the prices go up or down, if they're up, you get blamed for it, and a president doesn't have a magic wand. What do you think of President Obama? Is there anything that he could do that would show that he's kind of on top of the energy message, even though he's admitted there's no silver bullet?
To be honest with you, no. I think it's but I think it's really a temporary thing, and the reason why it's so problematic politically is it's coming on top of so much economic pain and suffering that it's magnified, and people are feeling it so much worse than they normally would. But I think, to Deneen's point, both parties don't have a real energy policy. Both have one-sided energy policies, just like they have one-sided economic policies. This is where the crisis of confidence in America is. They don't see either party with a balanced, smart, innovative agenda, get the economy not just moving, but to create long-term growth.
But what we need to do is drill, and we need to mine. I mean, we need fossil fuels. They're the lifeblood of our economy, and you can't grow the economy with high energy costs. And we also need jobs. We still have high unemployment. But again, Obama has a war against fossil fuels. That was his message going into his running for presidency. So he is delivering on his promise, and it is hurting the American people. We are suffering the consequences of his campaign promises.
Well, it's hard to turn. You can't turn energy around.
But if there were job growth, people wouldn't care about what the president's position on climate change is. And this is the problem with the Republican message in particular, is they've been focused so much monomaniacally on spending cuts that they haven't talked anything about job growth, economic growth, the things that people really care about.
Well, I think they would say that they're trying to make the connection that cutting spending leads to job growth, and that's where the debate is,
and the Times poll showed that the American people aren't buying that.
But people do care about high energy costs, and Obama is an elite. He can afford higher energy prices, and he is not concerned about what is hurting Americans.
I could have kept you here all day, but thanks for coming in so much. Catherine Zeta